Good morning, guys. Today we're going to tackle writing prompt number 2. This is the last page of your questions document that you will have this morning, and it's number 20. And it says this one's a little more difficult, I think, because it's asking you to think about the ways the government has influenced the way you live. And because you guys are children, I think that you've had less experiences, or you're not even aware that the government has something to do with something you enjoy doing or can't do. So I'm going to try to help you think through this one a little bit. But the rest of it, I think, will be easy once you have an idea to write about. So it says, think of a time when government has influenced the way you live or what you do. So remember that the government can be, here, let's even put a line here. The government, it's not saying it has to be the federal government. And I think that is one thing that kind of can be tricky. So we're talking about government being your, can be the local government, your state, or federal. Okay, so either way, you can think of either way. And influenced means how has it affected your life? How has it changed your life? How has it allowed you to do something? So influencing is something that makes an impact on your life. Let's back that up a little. So it's affected your life some way. What you live or what you do. Maybe you went to a park for free because the government built the park, or a government rule kept you from doing something. So I'm going to kind of separate this for you. Write a personal letter. Okay, you guys are pretty familiar, or I know my kids are more familiar maybe than others with writing personal letters. This is like your reader's notebook. You know, dear Johnny, dear Susie. So make sure you have a greeting. You have the body of your letter, which is going to be the next part of this prompt. And then you've signed it, your friend, whoever, Brooke. Okay? You're going to tell them, this is the important part here that we don't want to forget. We're going to tell them what happened, where it happened, and who was with you. Okay? So as you get ready to start thinking about this, and we have our Foursquare, we're going to I'm going to set this up a little differently, allowing you in this first block to do a little bit of brainstorming. So in this first block, let's just sit here and think about the ways the government rules have influenced my life. And let's just brainstorm a little. And I'm going to brainstorm a little with you, and then you can add more to it. But I want you guys to have some ideas going into this because this one's a little tricky. The first thing I thought of when I read this reading prompt was right now we have a rule that's keeping us from coming to school together. So we have a rule from our government that says while COVID-19 is still active, and there's further rules in that you guys won't understand, we learn from home. Well, let's not say active because it can still be active and we can still go. Let's say all COVID-19 cases are on the rise. So as long as we keep seeing a rise in cases, people still getting it a lot and stuff, we learn from home. We're not allowed to go to school. And I think that would be something very easy for you to write about. The other thing I liked from the example was going to public parks. You guys probably play at public parks. So maybe a time that you enjoyed playing at a public park. And that's pretty much any park you didn't have to pay to get into. Okay, so if you had to pay to get into it, and sometimes there are government parks that we go to that we pay, but they're not ones that maybe you go to on the base or that you go to every day. What else could we talk about? I had some ideas before I started this video and they just left my brain. See, I should have wrote them down first. What about just coming to school? Going to school. That's a government rule. Free public education that's in place that allows you to come to school. And that is a huge impact on your life. It influences your life. Oh, there was another one. I forgot. Okay, for now I'm going to skip it. And we'll come back to it if I can think of it. If not, like I said, you can always add your own. The next part is tell what happened. So in this box over here, I'm going to focus on what happened. This is going to be what did I do and what was it like while I was doing it. Okay, so which one of those did you pick out of the first box? And then what was it like while you were doing it? You're going to combine that. Let me see if I can. I don't like this Foursquare on the page. We're going to combine that with where did it happen? I'm going to put that in all capital letters. And the last block being, oh, I see. This is still an extension of the first block. Let me swoop that down. Oh, my friends. Oh, happy morning. I'm going to move it all down to the next page for y'all in a minute because this is confusing. Where did it happen? And the last one was who was I with? Okay, so let's just move the prompt, this final prompt down a little so it's all on one page for you guys and it's a little less confusing. Or at least it's less confusing for me. Okay, now we got our Foursquare back. So, what are some ideas of some things that you've been able to do because the government has made a rule to allow you to do it or maybe keep you from doing it? Then we're going to describe what happened, where it happened, and who you were with. Now, as you begin to write the letter, these things are all going to kind of go together. Okay, you're not going to have a different paragraph for what happened, where it happened, and who you were with, because as you start describing what happened that day and what it was like, you're going to naturally tell who you were with and where you went. So this is just more of a way for you to organize your thoughts to make sure you're not missing any of those key details. Okay, so as you're going through, you want to remember that you're writing a letter. That's a narrative. It's a story of a time the government influenced your life. What was it that you chose? Where did you go? What did you do? And who were you with? Okay, and then you want to make sure that in a personal letter you have a greeting. And that would be dear whoever your friend is. You're going to have the body, and that's all the information in your Foursquare. You want to have the closing. You should also have a date at the top. Date, greeting, body. Closing would be an example would be your friend and a signature, which is your name. Okay, so those are all the parts that you need for a personal letter. And then, of course, the information from your Foursquare should be the thoughts that you've organized as you've thought through what you want to write about. Again, this will be shared with you so that you can type right here on the page where I've already added some information, or you can recreate it in your notebook, whatever works best for your brain and how it likes to think. We will see you in small group to continue working on this writing prompt. See you later, my friends.